Okay, hi. This is definitely the most planning that I've ever put into a YouTube video ever. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Megan Nespliak. I'm 22 years old and I was recently diagnosed with cancer. This is probably not gonna be my normal content. I like to be really goofy. I like to be really funny. I talk about fashion. My life goal is to be an influencer. That's my dream job. So that is what we're still going for, even with all of this bad news I'm about to share with you. But my reason for filming this video is because I have been given a year to live, and I think that is bullshit, to say the very least. What I've decided for myself is to make this the absolute best year that it can possibly be. Having the best year I can have is acknowledging that I have cancer. Obviously, I'm not going to ignore that because it's going to be a really big part of whatever time I have left, which I'm hoping to be able to beat the odds that I've been given. But obviously, this has just put a lot of things into perspective for me. So with that said, filming this video is a way for anyone who has questions or is curious about how I was diagnosed, symptoms, any questions you guys have, I want to address them because I don't want to have to keep repeating myself for the next however long I have. I'd rather just direct you guys here so you can hear the whole story, get all of like the frequently asked questions answered all in one go, so then I can enjoy my time living my life and not have to live through my story. I want to spend my time making memories, going on trips, but living my life to the absolute fullest. I don't feel like I owe it to anyone, but I also appreciate that people care this much and want to know and have questions. Like, I am so grateful that people care this much about my story. So I wanted to do something so that it makes my life easier and it also answers questions you guys have. Just as a preface, I did today on my Instagram story share that there were some very offside and rude questions that were asked, and I'm gonna put them on the screen. So like your username is gonna be there if you ask them. I'm not telling anyone to go hate on you. You clearly just thought these were like anonymous questions. For those of you that don't know, I put a question box on my Instagram story saying if you have any questions about my cancer, feel free to ask. I did not expect some of these rude questions. I got really emotional reading some of them. I'm hoping that I can answer the questions even if I think they're really stupid. Like, I'm a very blunt person. I'm usually very rude, but through humor. But I never said I was nice. I just said I was positive. So I'm gonna keep reiterating that. Backstory is that I've had ovarian cyst issues since I had my IUD put in. I'm gonna get real personal for you guys just so you don't have any more questions. I have the Mirena IUD. It was put in 2018. The first time I had ovarian cyst pain and I got an ultrasound for it was 2019. Okay, do I think this went back that far? I don't know, no one really knows, but I'm giving you the whole backstory. I had a breast reduction on December 22nd of 2021, okay? So I was put on some medications after that surgery, obviously just for like anti-inflammatory. I was put on some pain meds, whatever. The anti-inflammatory I was put on, celecoxib, also known as Celebrex, okay? One of the side effects of that pill is that it can make it difficult for you to swallow for a period of time or whatever. That's just a side effect of the drug. All drugs have side effects, whatever. I'm not telling you all of these symptoms for every hypochondriac ever to think they have cancer. You probably don't. If you have concerns, go to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not answering medical questions in the comments. I'm telling you guys what I know and what happened to me. This is not about you, period. I started having trouble swallowing. Everything I ate that was solid food felt like it got stuck right here in my throat, and I was throwing up a lot. And I started losing a lot of weight. So this started in January of 2022. My birthday is January 6th. So I was supposed to go on a trip and I had to cancel it because I was so sick. Like, I was unbelievably sick. I tested negative for COVID. It was not COVID. It was literally just like a flu or something. But I was ill for the whole month of January, sick, and I could barely eat anything. I was on the smoothie and soup diet. I was put on a pill. I went to a walk-in clinic, put on a pill called pantoprazole, okay? And it's to help with acid reflux. Just for reference, the last ultrasound I had prior to all of this was in July of 2021 when I had ovarian cysts. They were very small cysts and they were completely normal, okay? Ovarian cysts are very common. So common that the doctors that I don't even remember what doctor, I've talked to so many freaking doctors, told me that it is part of your menstrual cycle to get cysts. I Googled, do women get cysts monthly? Okay, this is what it says. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you. Who gets ovarian cysts? Ovarian cysts are common in women with regular periods. In fact, most women make at least one follicle or corpus luteum cyst every month. Each month during your menstrual cycle, a follicle cyst grows on your ovary. The follicle is where an egg is developing. The follicle makes the estrogen hormone. This hormone causes normal changes of the uterine lining as the uterus prepares for pregnancy, which is your menstrual cycle, which is your period, for those who don't know. Cysts are normal, but the cysts that I get from whatever, being a woman, I guess, get really large and they get really painful. So the cysts I had in July were normal. So I went in February, I got this swallowing, the pantoprazole to help me swallow. It started working. I was able to keep down solid food. I was taking it twice a day, but I was taking it, I wasn't supposed to take it any longer than like a month. And I was over that month. So on March 4th, this is where the timeline gets very important. March 4th, I go back to the walk-in clinic. I say, I need a refill of this pantoprazole because I'm almost out. And it's the only thing, if I stop, every time I've stopped taking it, I cannot swallow solid food. I've lost weight. I'm concerned. And they're like, well, you shouldn't need to take it much longer, whatever, but we'll refill it for you. And then I was like, I've also kind of been having pain again. And I think it's ovarian cysts. I've had ovarian cysts before. Here's my medical history, whatever. I think I need an ultrasound just to see what's going on, because if a cyst gets too big, they can surgically remove it. Because when cysts burst, they're really, really painful. She also got me a reference for a gastrointestinal specialist. So a GI specialist, that's how I'm going to refer to them because I don't like all of those words. They're too big. GI specialists, your whole digestive tract. That's what they're in charge of, okay? So March 4th, which was a Friday, March 8th, which was a Tuesday, I went for my ultrasound at the hospital in Kelowna, the Kelowna General Hospital. I go and get my ultrasound on March 8th. And I've had quite a few ultrasounds in my life, so I'm pretty used to how they go. But this ultrasound was taking a really long time. And I could kind of just tell from how long it was taking that something was up. If you don't know how an ultrasound works, they get you to have a full bladder, and then you pee, and then you leave. But she told me to go pee and then come back in the room. And I was like, that's not normal. The radiologist came in, which is the person who reads the ultrasound scans and makes the report. So what the radiologist told me was that my ovaries were very enlarged. I had multiple cysts on both of my ovaries. There was fluid in my abdomen, and some of it looked like it was blood. So all of that is concerning. She's like, I just called emergency and told them that you're coming to Emerge. I'm sending you to Emerge. I want you to see the gynecologist that's on call. Fuck you, gynecologist. I got to emergency at 2:15 p.m. on March 8th. I was feeling very bloated, and I now knew why. I feel like I just mentioned that really casually. I'd been feeling bloated, and that was mixed in with the cyst pain. I skipped over that. I'm so sorry. So I go to emergency and I said, they told you guys that I was coming. They make you wait in multiple waiting rooms. There was some of the most unbearable people I've ever met in my entire life in emergency that day. Keep in mind, I'm a 22-year-old. I hate all things medical. I have been scared of needles. I was scared of the word blood and veins. I still kind of am. Ew. Okay, so I'm there by myself. My whole family's still in Alberta. Okay. I'm in BC all by myself. I'm scared. I know I'm an adult. I know I should be able to handle these things, but I can't. I waited in emergency from 2:15 p.m. until 11 p.m. I got to the last waiting room. I saw a doctor. He was an asshole. Oh, it can't be that bad. And then went and looked at my scans and he's like, oh, those are some really big ovaries. Those are some really big cysts, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like shoving everything off. And I was so confused because I'm like, the radiologist told me I had like blood in my stomach. Like, what's going on here? Pretty much they told me the entire time I was there, I wasn't allowed to eat or drink anything because they thought they were going to have to take me into surgery, which never happened. They sent me home at 11 p.m. They didn't do any extra tests on me. They didn't even take my blood work, nothing. I'm a mess, okay? I called my parents. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm starving. I'm tired. I'm grumpy. I'm so confused. I'm stressed out because I've been told a lot of things about my body, but no one's done anything. So I was very mucho stressed.
Very mucho stressed. Okay.
Bestie Emerge doctor calls me as soon as I get home. I'm munching on my McDonald's, okay? Because I'm grumpy and tired and hungry and I just want to go to bed, want to eat my McDonald's. But he calls me and he goes, did anyone take your blood work while you were here? I'm like, no. And he goes, you have to come back right now and we have to get your blood work. I was like, are you joking? I go back to Emerge at 11:30 p.m. on March 8th. This is still March 8th. March 8th was eventful, okay? They take my blood work and they send me home. They were like, you don't have to wait for the results, whatever. If your pain gets worse, come back to emergency. And I was like, fuck that. Like, I hate emergency. You guys did absolutely nothing for me. This was traumatizing. I don't want to be here. So my parents were worried. So my mom drove out to BC on that weekend. So my pain was like not getting any better, getting like a little bit worse, and like I'm just assuming like one of my cysts are gonna burst or something. The gynecologist I was supposed to see in emergency called me to schedule a follow-up appointment for a month and a half later. And I was like, no, like I'm in pain now and there's clearly things wrong in my body now. And I was so confused. So I called the clinic that I really like in Kelowna, and I just wanted to find out when the doctor that I like goes there, because if you don't know how walk-in clinics work, the doctors change all the time. I found out that this doctor that I liked was going to be in office on March 14th, which is a Monday, okay? So I told my mom, I was like, if my pain hasn't gotten any better, I will go to this walk-in clinic on the Monday, March 14th, and then we'll see what she says. So I went in on March 14th in the morning. I felt so bloated. Like I couldn't eat anything. I felt so full, but I hadn't eaten anything. And I was so stressed out. She looks at my ultrasounds and she's like, I'm a little concerned. My white cell blood count was up in my blood work. She's like, your ovaries are abnormally large. I had 8 cysts on one ovary and like 6 on the other one. And they were all like, I think it's like 2 centimeters. Over 2 centimeters is something like a cyst that can be surgically removed. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. And all of them were over 2 centimeters. And she's like, and you also have like a ton of fluid in your abdomen. She's like, I think you should go back to Emerge. So I call my mom and I'm like, Mommy, I'm not going to Emerge by myself. You come with me, please. Come pick me up. We're going to emergency. To go back to emergency the afternoon of March 14th. We got there around noon and then we never really left, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So the first thing they did when I got there is blood work. Bestie at the clinic gave us a letter and she was like, you need to get her in there, like pay attention to her. Couldn't really tell much, I guess, from my ultrasound what was going on. So they wanted to do a CT of my abdomen. After quite a few hours, they finally got around to doing that. If you've never had a CT scan, they just inject dye into your IV in your arm and it lights up your whole body. It makes you feel like you pee your pants. Because of COVID, they kept being like, you're too old, you can't have a support person, and would like kick my mom out. And then they would be like, oh, we have something to tell you, you can bring your mom back in. So like my mom left and came back from Emerge so many times. Finally, a nurse takes me and puts me in a room. She is like, do you have somebody with you, whatever? And I was like, no, they kicked my mom out. And she's like, okay, like you can get your mom, whatever. Then my mom comes in the room, and like the nurse was kind of like acting weird. I can't remember what jokes I was making, but I was making jokes, and like she wasn't like laughing, and I was like, haha, like it's almost like you're about to give us bad news or something. So obviously we're getting the CT results, right? Imagine, okay, you guys are me and my mom. I'm on the stretcher bed, okay? Lady comes in, slides the door open. So this is bad. We're talking cancer. Okay, that's how she fucking told me that I had cancer. And then what did I do? So this is a common question. What was your initial reaction to having cancer? Panic attack. Anyone knows me in real life, I struggle with depression and anxiety and a panic disorder. Panic disorder is self-diagnosed, but a therapist has diagnosed the other two. That was the fastest panic attack I've ever had in my whole life. Immediate hyperventilating, pretty much felt like I was gonna pass out even though I was laying on a bed. Started bawling my eyes out, freaking out, kind of like scream crying is what I remember. So to quote again, so this is bad, we're talking cancer is what I heard. And then I don't remember literally anything else other than a nurse came in and gave me Ativan. If you've ever had Ativan, you understand that it is amazing, okay? Ativan takes all your worries away. This isn't a freaking sponsorship for Ativan, but I would. The doctor started explaining things to my mom. My mom used to be an x-ray tech, so she's like used to reading reports and stuff. So she just like grabbed the report from the doctor and started reading it because she was like, you're a fucking idiot, which I mean, like she is. So then March 14th, I was admitted to the hospital because the next day they wanted to do a biopsy of my stomach. So a biopsy is where they take cells or just like part of wherever they think you have cancer, test the pathology of whatever they take out to see if it's cancerous. It's like a for sure finding out if you have cancer. I thought they were gonna biopsy my ovaries, right? No, they're biopsying my stomach. Where our GI buddy comes in, our gastrointestinal person. So what they have to do is they have to scope you, is how they do a stomach biopsy. It's gonna get graphic for all of you that just love medical talk. Pretty much put this thing in your mouth that's like this. Hold your mouth open. Hold your mouth open. Then they sedate you, which is being put under is one of my favorite things on earth. But they sedate you a little and they start putting the scope down your throat. Then I guess they take something out of my stomach, pull it out. That sounds really lovely. And then go test it. So that happened on March 15th. Also on March 15th, they took me, this was painful, okay? They stabbed me right down here in my lower abdomen, and they put a little tube drain in me with a bag hanging out of my body. Traumatizing. And they did a fluid drain because my abdomen was full of fluid and blood and whatever. 4 liters of fluid was drained from my stomach in like, I think just over an hour and a half or something, which he was like, I've seen more, but I've also seen a whole lot less. And they tested the fluid in my stomach and the lining of my stomach, I guess is what they took from the scope. And they both tested positive for cancer. I'm sure this is really emotional for you guys learning all of this for the first time, but like I've known since March 14th that I have cancer. So like I've had some time to process. I cry nightly. You guys don't see that, but I mean, I can make jokes about it because it's my cancer and it's all about me, okay? March 16th, I had a bone scan. They just wanted to make sure that the cancer hadn't spread anywhere else. Found out it was clear. Okay, so then March 18th, I was in the hospital this whole week. March 18th was Friday, and I got moved to a different part of the hospital so I could start chemotherapy. So I did my first IV chemotherapy in the hospital. They were going to send me home, but I started reacting to the chemotherapy. So then they kept me overnight. So then on Saturday, March 19th is when I actually got to go home to my parents' house. that's pretty much the timeline of how everything happened. The type of chemo they started me on. The IV, the first one, was oxaliplatin. They sent me home with oral chemo that I was supposed to take for 2 weeks, once in the morning, once at night, 5 big chalky pills called, I think it's K-Pox is what the chemo is called. I don't know if this computes to you guys, but I have stomach cancer and they wanted me to be constantly swallowing pills. So I was supposed to do that for 2 weeks. I did it for 3 days and I was extremely ill. I've never been so weak in my whole life. I could not walk on my own. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't shower by myself. It was the most degrading, humiliating, like dehumanizing time of my life by far. Just like being a 22-year-old, like you go on Instagram, Snapchat, anywhere, and people are going to the bar on a weekend, and that same weekend my mom was like wiping my ass and like helping me shower, and I was like sitting on a little like elderly person's stool in the shower, and like it was like a terrible, terrible, terrible time. That Monday, I went back to the cancer center in Kelowna, told them that I'd stopped the oral chemo. So they pumped me full of IV fluid. I think I took like a liter in an hour for like 3 days straight or something, just to try and get the chemo out of my system. Like I felt like I was gonna die. Like that's 100% how I felt. I remember calling my friend Erin and I was like bawling on the phone with her and I was like, buddy, like I have never felt so bad and like I just want this to like end. Like I was just a wreck. The plan the whole time was to come back to Edmonton for treatment. Edmonton's where I'm from. Edmonton's where I am now. The Cross Cancer is where I'm receiving treatment now. After the chemo didn't work, it just made sense for us to literally pack up and move that week. We went and packed up my dream apartment, and that was really emotional for me. I have 1 semester left of college. It's just frustrating because I just want to be there and be finishing. I mean, COVID took away so much of my college experience already. March 14th is when I was diagnosed, and within 2 weeks of that, I was back in my childhood home. So what you've all been waiting for is the grand diagnosis, which I will explain. I had to go to the Cross Cancer, and I met my new oncologist, which is a fancy word for cancer doctor. He told me exactly how bad it was. And I told Instagram how bad it was that same day. And he diagnosed me with stage 4 incurable stomach cancer. And he gave me a timeline of a year to live. The word for a cancer that has spread from somewhere else to your ovaries is Krukenberg, which I guess is a very scary term in the oncology world. Stomach cancer is a very rare kind of cancer, and it's even more rare for somebody young to get it. So a lot of doctors in Kelowna were clearly very shocked. I think all doctors I've talked to have been very shocked. The Cross Cancer does seem a lot more equipped to deal with such a rare type of cancer. People know that what cancer is, in the sense that cancer is bad. What cancer is it's cells that rapidly reproduce and they hurt other cells in your body. So usually your immune system can fight off cancers, but cancers get bad when they grow and whatever. Now, I don't know what stage 1, 2, 3 of cancer is because I jumped right to stage 4. But stage 4 is when you have a cancer that started somewhere and it's moved. So my cancer was started in my stomach, spread to the fluid in my stomach. So they have now assumed that it's in my ovaries. The reason that they're not going to do a biopsy is because I guess it doesn't really matter, because the CT scan shows that there's cancer in that area, and I guess like it just doesn't really matter where it is. It just makes more sense to start chemotherapy. Like it doesn't matter where else it is now. Like it's just a matter of like, let's start treating you. but it doesn't matter if it's spread to my ovaries specifically because they know for a fact that it's spread to the fluid in my abdomen. Lots of people were asking how they can determine a timeline. You know what? I don't know. I have no idea how they determine a timeline. I think it's bullshit. This is not a doctor's opinion. This is Megan's opinion. If stomach cancer is so rare already, plus it's rare in young people, I don't understand how they have even enough data to like base a timeline. And I'm just like, I'm so stubborn that like, I'm going to be around for like so much longer than a year. And like, what if because I'm young, I have an advantage because like my body and my immune system like can fight things off better, hopefully. He says incurable, but I'm like, that's pessimistic. There's no sense in just being like, oh, like to me at least. I mean, if you if you wouldn't think like this, then fine, but this is how my brain operates. Oh, you're gonna die in a year. Like in my head, I'm kind of like, well, I'm gonna do everything I can do to make sure that's a load of bullshit, instead of being like, oh, I only have a year? Oh, better count down the days. Like, that's depressing. Every time I have a good day, I want to do something. I want to make a memory. I want to, like, you know? Everyone's wondering, how am I being so positive? I see no point in just, like, wasting days where I feel healthy and I feel good on being sad and pitying myself and being like, oh, poor me, whatever. Like, I want to go and make crazy memories, and I want to go and like live my life as normally as I possibly can, because if it's true that I have exactly 365 days to live, I don't want to waste them being sad. We'll start with a good one. This is the first one that's at the top of the thing. What things do you do to nurture your soul and get you through the challenging days? Okay, that's a great question. Most of the time, the challenging days, I have a panic attack and then I take Ativan. I do really like journaling. I love journaling. I do puzzles a lot. I have a puzzle table downstairs. I've always liked puzzles. Spending time with my mom and my dog, Harvey. Retail therapy, I have spent a ridiculous amount of money on things that I do not need. But you know what? If they're going to give me a year to live, fuck it. Getting brand deals and working makes me so happy. Being an influencer is so much fun. I have gotten some of the most amazing brand deals since announcing my story, sharing my love for fashion with people. And I'm so glad that I am able to have good days still where I can go out and take pictures and I can get ready and I can do my makeup and do all these like fun, girly, normal 20-something-year-old things, because that is what I want to be doing with my life. I don't want to be like, oh, because I have cancer, I have to stop doing this. Because you have cancer, you don't really have to stop doing much. You just have to be strong enough to like get out of bed in the morning and go out and do it. And I really want to be able to turn around any challenging days into productive or at least meaningful days. In terms of health-wise, I just lay in bed and nap as much as I can. I drink a ton of water. When you're having a bad feeling or thought, how do you not dwell and catastrophize it? I don't know how to say that word. I'm a dramatic bitch from birth. So, you know, everything is a catastrophe in my life. Even prior to being diagnosed with cancer, everything was the end of the world to me. Honestly, I just think cancer has changed my perspective a lot, that like little things don't matter. I know you're specifically talking about like if I get like a pain or whatever. Absolutely. I'm like, am I dying? Is this the end? But you know, if it doesn't kill me, then I guess it didn't really matter that much. What symptoms did you have that made you question something was up? I gave you the timeline. Those were the symptoms. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to summarize them because I just know that some of you dumbasses are going to fucking, you didn't tell us your symptoms. Anyways, I did, but you just clearly didn't watch the video. Swallowing, pain in my lower abdomen that I thought was cyst pain, and it was, because I had cysts, and I've always had cysts. Not always, but I've had a history of cysts. I was bloated. I couldn't eat solid food because of the swallowing. Nausea, lots and lots and lots of nausea. We never thought it was cancer. We fully thought that it was going to be like a full hysterectomy was what I needed or something like that. we did not think cancer. Lots of people just and didn't even ask questions. They were just like, you're amazing and I love you, and I love you too. If you asked a question that wasn't a question and you said something nice, I love you. Thank you for being so kind. Thank you for supporting me on my social media journey. Thank you for watching my mantra every morning. Thank you for all your messages. Thank you for sending stuff to my P.O. box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. You are making the hardest time in somebody's life, which is me. Everything's about me in this video, just so you know. So much better. Like, every day I wake up, I go through my DM requests, I read your kind messages, and you guys make me smile, okay? I love you. How did you react when you first found out? Panic attack. Are you able to drink alcohol while doing chemo? You know, I don't drink alcohol anyways. I tell people I'm allergic. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in like over 4 years, I think. Very weird for a 22-year-old. People get weirded out by that, but I mean, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I don't think they recommend drinking alcohol on chemotherapy. Alcohol is poison, so is chemo. Doubling up on poison is probably not great for you, but I'm not a doctor, so. What does stage 4 mean to you? What does it mean to you? Like, to me, it means bad. Technically, it means cancer has spread from where it originated. Do you get random people who think you're faking cancer? Yes. I got lots of people on TikTok commenting that I was saying I had cancer for clout. I really wish I had screenshots of this because I know people are gonna be like, receipts or it didn't happen. Yeah, lots of people thought I was saying I had cancer just to get followers. No, but am I gonna use cancer to get followers? Absolutely. Cancer is fucking terrible, and it better do something good for me. I've always wanted to be famous. I've always wanted to be an influencer. Sharing my story and being vulnerable is something that is making me happier. It's helping me deal with this. It's helping me cope. People are interested in my story, believe it or not, to all of you haters. And people like the way I dress. People like my fashion sense. And that is what I like. And you can suck it if you disagree. Anyways, do you feel like you have to be positive to help your loved ones cope? I know this is really hard on my family, but I'm not being positive for them. I'm being positive for me because, again, this is my life. Everything's about me. But obviously, like, I don't want my family to be seeing me, like, super sick and super sad all the time. Like, that's not something I ever want, regardless of cancer or not. How is your appetite? Have you experienced a loss of appetite? I did. I was not eating. When I was still in Kelowna and I was on that chemo, I was not eating pretty much anything. The week I was in the hospital, I was having, like, nibbles of things, but, like, really nothing at all. Since I've been back in Edmonton, I have been eating a lot more because I've been set up with a dietitian. So now I'm eating like trying to eat 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. So I eat, instead of like 3 meals a day, I eat like 8 meals a day, but they're just really little. What is the best way to react if a loved one told us they were terminal? What I just really didn't like when I told people I was terminal is that everyone immediately wanted to like hug me and cry and whatever. And I think what people need to realize about that is that I don't need to cry anymore. I've cried lots. And the hugging is really for you, not for me. Like, it's not comforting for me to hug you while you cry. So maybe just don't do that. A lot of things that people say to me, like just people reaching out and like apologizing for things, that's to clear your conscience. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. And people that I haven't spoken to in years are reaching out, and like, not to say that you shouldn't, like, whatever, but just like, you don't need to apologize for stuff that happened so long ago. It's like oh, something's terrible is happening to you, but I have to make myself feel better about it now, which, if that doesn't make sense to you, I'm sorry that I'm explaining it poorly. Do you ever have negative or down days? I do. So I guess we can talk about this. So my new chemo treatment. So the first thing that I get, I qualify for immunotherapy. Yay, this is a good thing. Immunotherapy boosts your immune system, and it will help my good cells in my body fight the chemotherapy when it tries to attack my good cells, because chemotherapy just attacks everything, not just cancer, okay? Chemotherapy is poison. It just poisons your body, but it will poison the cancer and kill it, but it also can kill good cells. The immunotherapy that I'm on, for all of you, is Opdivo. The first type of chemo that I get, IV treatment, which I got a port put in, which is just this little thing under my skin attached to a vein. They stab it, and then all the chemo goes in through there. And the immunotherapy, everything goes through my port now because, fun fact, doing chemo in your arm, chemo can burn through your veins. It hurts. So this makes it hurt not as much. Well, it hasn't hurt me yet, so I can't even say shit. It hurt in my arm when I did it in Kelowna, but this shit did not hurt. But anyways, oxaliplatin is the first chemotherapy I get. It's a 2-hour infusion. Then after that, I get sent home with a baby bottle of chemo attached to my waist in a freaking fanny pack. I got a purple one from Lululemon, and it stays attached to me for 48 hours and drains into me because it's super strong, so she's got to go in slow. That one is called Fluorouracil. That's how we're going to say it. Do you ever have negative or down days? So I just did chemo last week. Wednesday is every second Wednesday I get chemo. And then every Friday I get disconnected from my port because the 48 hours I'm connected to the thing I just told you, catch up. Friday evening, I felt really tired. Saturday, I felt like shit. Or Saturday, I started to feel like shit. Sunday, I felt like complete shit. Monday, I felt like shit. Yesterday, which is Tuesday, I started to feel a bit better. Wednesday is today. I'm feeling funky and fresh, okay? And now I have a week to live my best life. How do you feel now? What more can they do? And how long do you have left? That's 3 questions. How do you feel now? Currently, what more can they do? So pretty much they're going to keep doing chemotherapy every 2 weeks until it stops working. Because at some point, chemotherapy apparently will stop working. That's what my oncologist says. I think he's being a little pessimistic. But at that point, they can explore other chemotherapies to see if they're going to work, or clinical trials. But we're not at that point yet, so I don't really know. How long do you have left? No one really knows. According to Oncology Bestie, a year. According to me, until I stop living, no one really knows how long you have left, okay? What scares you most? Birds. How are you coping with the timeline? Honestly, I think the timeline is bullshit. So I'm just going to keep thriving, baby. Do you have a bucket list? I do have a bucket list. Number 1 thing on my bucket list is to meet Taylor Swift. My mommy made a couple posts trying to get Taylor Swift's attention. We're working on it. I'm like too old to be a Make-A-Wish kid, so I'm just going to make my own wishes come true, you know? New York Fashion Week. So once I graduated college, I wanted to be an event planner. Like I could still be an event planner and graduate college, but anyways, I wanted to work on New York Fashion Week. That's my dream. Either as a model, as an event planner, it literally didn't matter to me. I have always wanted to go to New York Fashion Week. So my besties and I, and now my mom and some of her friends are gonna come because I have cancer, so she's gotta come with me, which is okay because my mom's my best friend. We're going to New York Fashion Week in September, and I'm so beyond excited. And that's on my chart at the cancer center, that they're giving me time off of chemo so I can go to New York Fashion Week. They can also give me time off chemo if I want to go traveling, which I do want to do. I want to go to Greece with my mom. We have a couple other places in Europe we really want to go, like Barcelona, London, whatever. We'll probably just make one big trip out of it. And then I have to go to Harry Potter World with my best friend Erin. We're huge Harry Potter fans. Those are like the big ones. Does this type of cancer progress fast between stages? Between stages, obviously, yeah, because like when we found out it was already stage 4, but it also does progress really fast, and it's apparently a really aggressive type of cancer. I don't know if it's like the Krukenberg part that's aggressive or just stomach cancer. I'm aggressive too. Are you in pain every day? No, the only days I'm really in pain are like around chemo, which Oncology Bestie said that if I'm reacting to the chemo, then it means the chemo's working. So that's kind of a good thing, but like you feel like shit, but that means the chemo's working. Yay! Okay, here's my favorite one. You fucking bitch. Why try and meet Taylor Swift not even 2 days after being diagnosed? First of all, Erica, you're a fucking bitch. Second of all, it was much, much longer than 2 days after I got diagnosed. I was diagnosed on March 14th, if you're watching this video, because Lord knows you're a fucking fan. Why? Because I was given a timeline. And yeah, I've said that I think the timeline's bullshit. But you know what? It's terminal cancer regardless. So I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. And it's not really any of your concern. She also asked, do you think you'll live longer than your prognosis? I fucking hope so, just because I know that it will probably piss you off. And for other reasons, but that's a good reason too. But yes, I do think I'll live longer than my prognosis. For all of you that were waiting for this whole video for the tea, the Taylor Swift question really pissed me off. There's more, but there's more. What will start happening when your health starts to decline? I don't really know. I don't really want to think about it too much, honestly. Like when I'm having a bad day, like health-wise, I just get really tired and nauseous. So I take more like anti-nausea stuff. It's not necessarily like pain. It's just kind of like discomfort. Because my cancer has been deemed terminal, you have to pick your death plan. So they give you like the options of like if you want to be like hooked up to life support, if you want to stop all treatment, or like there's a middle option. I chose the middle option just because it's like continuing treatments but still having quality of life. Not exactly something I want to be talking about at age 22, so that was a very emotional day. I love this question so much. Have any ex-lovers tried to get in touch after hearing about your diagnosis? No, and thank fucking God. I hate every single one of you. I have nothing nice to say about any of you. But there are 3 specific boyfriends of mine that if you reach out, I might hire a hitman. You know, having cancer made me positive, okay? I like having a positive outlook. It did not make me nice. If people aren't nice to me, if people don't treat me kindly, I don't have to be nice to them. And that goes for everyone. Do you ever think about what it will be like to die? Are you afraid? Sending all my love. I don't really want to think about it. How did you surmount to the fact that you might not be able to do everything you want? This is a very inconsiderate question, I think, because I'm probably going to be able to do everything I want. And even if I'm not, I'm going to pretend that I am. You saying this is kind of just really bitchy. Like, you don't know when you're going to die. How does it feel knowing you might not get to do everything you want to do? Anyways, best part about being an influencer, like I'm not going to lie, like the free shit is pretty sick. In all honesty, the people that I've met through being an influencer, by far the best part. Like Hannah and Lexi are my two of my best friends in the entire world, and I met them on Instagram. If you are thinking about becoming an influencer, Hannah and Lexi both give micro-influencer tips on their pages, like how to start, how to get brand deals, how to talk to brands, what to post, everything. Check them out because they're fantastic. Okay, what is your most favorite comfort item? I can show you. His name is Spike. He's an IKEA stuffed animal. I cuddle him at night like this. And then also my other favorite comfort item is my dog Harvey. How often do you cry? Daily. The first thought when you were diagnosed, fuck. How do you stay positive? I've kind of talked about this already. It's just like, but literally anyone can be positive. And I know that that sucks to hear when you don't have like a big life-changing, life-threatening disease to like beat the shit out of you and tell you that. But you can wake up and just be like positive about shit. Even though like, trust me, like I'm not saying like, oh, the world is so amazing. The world sucks. I got fucking cancer at 22 and a year to live. That's not fair. But like, you make the best of what you got. That's what positivity is. Will your hair fall out? No. Somebody also commented on my TikTok the other day that like, you're so stupid. Chemo makes your period stop. And I like have my period right now. And I was like, well, clearly that's false. Like I have it. Like it's happening right now. What's the worst thing people do when they find out you have cancer? Start crying. You guys have to deal with me crying, 100%. Like I will cry whenever I want because everything is about me. But when other people like hug me and cry or like call me and they're crying, I hate that. How can we support you, your family, and your legacy? Support me? Honestly, just keep being amazing. Like I love the fact that people are sharing my posts. People like my content, it seems like, besides the fact that I have cancer. People are following me, people are engaging, people are sending me kind messages, people are just like surrounding me in this like bubble of love, and it makes me so happy. And like every day I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, like people are so amazing. Support my family. I think just keep supporting me, because like the happier and like healthier and motivated I am, like I think that helps my family. Obviously when we get this foundation set up, I'm gonna need your guys' support. My legacy, again, the foundation, helping me build my Instagram following and my TikTok following and my YouTube following, and just like letting me live out my dream as an influencer for as long as I've got. Is there a possibility you will go into remission? I guess. He says incurable, but I'm gonna say I could go into remission. What's your goal with Instagram? Honestly, my like biggest goal since forever is to hit 100,000 followers. Right now we're on the road to 50K. We just hit 25K, which is like crazy to me, because like a couple weeks ago when I announced this, I had like 6K. My goal with TikTok is to hit 1 million. I have like 77K, so like we're a long way away from both of those goals, but like I also plan on like being here to annoy you guys for a long time, so like we have time. You know where your cancer has spread. Stomach, through my stomach lining, abdomen fluid, I don't know, and then ovaries. This is a stupid question, and I just want to put it on the screen and just like let it sink in for you guys. Do you find yourself grieving for the future that will be taken from you? You guys see what I mean when I meant like there is such thing as a stupid question? What does the cancer treatment you are following right now hope to do? I mean, all cancer treatments hope to get rid of the cancer because it's incurable. The goal is to just extend my life as long as possible. Do you currently have any pain in your stomach or ovaries? Ovaries, yeah, because I have my period. Stomach, I just get nauseous if I like eat too much. Was removing your stomach and ovaries ever an option? No, because the cancer is so aggressive. I guess doing a surgery like that would just give the cancer time to spread other places, because you would have to like stop chemo for like 2 months or something to let you recover. So it would kind of just be like a waste of time because it's stage 4. I guess if it was like an earlier stage, then it would have been an option, but that wasn't an option for me. What things can you not do now that you're diagnosed with cancer? Nothing really has changed that much, like, to be honest. Like, other than like every second Wednesday, I have to go to the hospital to get chemo, and I have like lots of doctor's appointments. Does chemo hurt? It hasn't yet. It's just the side effects after of like being nauseous and stuff are uncomfortable, and they make me really weak, but it's not like painful. How often do you do chemo? Every 2 weeks. How have different doctors affected you? Would you go into the medical field? No, I would never go into the medical field, ever. Disgusting, gross. There's different, like, the doctors I had in Kelowna were a lot more like serious, I think. The doctor I have in Edmonton has like a sense of humor. I need a sense of humor to like deal with this, I think. The emergency doctors in Kelowna. How does it affect your mental health? Probably badly. What was the prognosis for doing chemo versus not doing chemo? Not doing chemo, I would have a lot less time and the cancer would spread very quickly, and I would probably have way less than a year. Doing chemo, they think, like, he was kind of like, some people live less than a year, some people live longer than a year. I'm gonna be like 10 years. How have your friendships and relationships changed since your diagnosis? I've gotten a lot closer with my family, and a lot of people from my past have re-entered my life. Not a bad thing. Lots of them are actually like super positive. I've reconciled with a lot of people that honestly I've wanted to reconcile with for a while. Oh, here's the really stupid one. You guys are gonna like this one. What is it like realizing that you're gonna die? Eleanor, bestie, I hate to break it to you, we're all gonna die. I just potentially know when I could die. You could die before me. I just want to let you know that. Do the doctors approximately know how long you've had cancer before the diagnosis? No, and there isn't really a way to tell, which sucks. I know I don't owe it to you guys to film this, but I really just want to like thoroughly do this so that there's no more questions. Do I have a boyfriend? No, I'm single. Dating is definitely something that is a struggle for somebody with terminal cancer, because it's like you need to tell them, but like you don't want to, because it's like, that's depressing and that's a lot of baggage for a first date. I mean, like, I'm a cancer patient, but I'm a hot cancer patient, so you know. Are you in therapy? Yes, and I need more of it. I need a lot more of it. What would you say is one positive thing that came out of this experience? Perspective. So many things don't matter. Like, the boy that I've had a crush on for like over a year now, or almost a full year now, him not texting me back was in fact my biggest problem prior to this. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for watching. I hope I answered all your questions, because I am fucking done. I am done answering your questions. I'm very grateful that you guys are invested in my story. I'm very grateful for all the support. But this video was 100% for my sanity, so I can stop explaining this stuff. Cancer updates and everything, that's gonna be on my Instagram. This is my cancer story. This is everything that's happened. It's my cancer treatments. The trauma, the drama, it's all there. The shitty questions. You've heard it all. And I love you all so much. If you've made it this long, you are a freaking trooper. And you deserve an award. As do I. I'm gonna eat my salad now. I love you all. Good night.